Everybody, I'm George Mossey. I'm here with my co-host Heather C. So last night, Darcey and Stacey aired. We're on season 3, episode 4. There's a lot to talk about. We met some new people like her cousin Shannon, and we also met Michael Benz. So I just want to jump right into everything. So it's their first morning in Miami, and before the twins begin prep for their huge Miami Fashion Week debut, they squeeze in some family time. So Georgi, if you remember last week, he talked to the twins' dad, and he said, you're going to have to build a bond with the girls in order for you to actually build a relationship with Darcey. So Georgi took that advice and he plans this huge surprise, which they go to a marina and they assume they're getting on a yacht. They are not getting on a yacht. They are going deep sea fishing, which I was confused as to why he thought they would enjoy that. Because most people, I don't know, I feel like fishing is like an older man sport. So
Mhm.
I was just curious. But Aspen loves fishing. So he got it right. So he got one out of the three, right? So he got it right.
I I mean, kudos to him for thinking outside the box.
So would you enjoy that? Would you enjoy deep sea fishing?
Oh well, since you want to put me on the spot, I don't know. Like I'm always up for trying new things, but I'm not really like an adventurous type person, which you know. But I don't really have a problem with water or boats. So I think I would give it a try, but like fishing weirds me out a little bit because like I'm with like Darcey where she's like you gotta put the little worm on and everything and
So
but
you're
I
more of
love
a
that her daughter.
spectator. You're more of a spectator when it comes to
Yeah.
fish. I'm
I
more of a I'll watch the boat from the dock. I'm not getting on it type person.
I would
So
try. I would try.
right,
Maybe
I
if
mean,
they put
I
the
commend you for trying. I commend Darcey for getting on the boat in heels. I commend
yeah,
that. That was
maybe
dangerous in
if they
itself.
put the worm on the hook for me, then I'll do it.
Okay. Well, Aniko and Aspen use this time to interrogate Georgi because everybody has been interrogating Georgi all this season, all last season. This is just Georgi's long interrogation. So they want to know if he's in it for the love of Darcey or if he's in it for Darcey's money. And this has been the question that Georgi has been answering so much. And he says that he actually has some business ideas. He wants to get into real estate, which is a really, really good career field. I think that if he sticks with that, he will be just fine. I don't know anyone who's in real estate who's struggling. So I think that's a really good thing for him to get into. And he's also looking to do something with rose oil, selling rose oil or using rose oil. I don't know exactly what he wants to do with it, but I know it's a market for that. So I think that he should just stick with it, try to go with what he's trying to do, and stop letting people get in his ear and question him and what he wants to do. He is younger, so he does have that under his belt of knowing, like, hey, I don't know exactly what I want to do at this moment. He was doing massage therapy, and now he might want to change his career. And I support that. I think people should have the opportunity to change their direction.
I mean, yeah, he has a full life ahead of him, you know, so it's like there's nothing wrong with testing the waters. At least he has some dreams and goals that doesn't involve spending other people's money. So, you know, I mean, I don't fault the girls for being protective over their mom and for grilling him because, you know, their relationship was rocky and, you know, because of the past, it leaves people critical of the situation and what might happen. So they're just looking out for mom. But I think he answered it very well. I know he was kind of like disappointed on their reaction to what he tried to do for them, but it looked like ultimately they had a good time.
Yeah, I think they had fun. It was different. A lot of people don't realize getting out of your comfort zone is how you start to learn new experiences and have fun. So let's talk about Stacey and Florian. So Stacey takes Florian out for his first day in Miami. They're walking along, and the first thing she says is, "We should get married here. Do you like it?" Before he can even get accustomed to seeing the palm trees and seeing the water, she's like, "We should get married." And then before he could even answer that question, they go to salsa dancing lessons, which he doesn't seem like a dancer. And he said last night on the episode, like, I do lots of things, but dancing is not one of the things that I do. So I was like, good for you for being a good sport, because salsa dancing is, I think, other than the tango, one of the more difficult things that you can learn because you can really take someone's toes off if you don't do it right. So he tried it. He was a good sport. And we did see a little more of his jealousy during the salsa dancing because he wouldn't switch off dancers. And he was more so not willing to let Stacey switch off with the male dancer. So we're seeing a little more of his jealous side. And I have like it's a double-edged sword, because I feel like in order for a relationship to work, there needs to be jealousy. Is you don't feel threatened by another person taking that person away. It means that you don't value that person, but you have to also keep your jealousy in check to where it's not a controlling issue. And I feel like he did try to give her a curfew when it was time for them to go on the business meeting for Michael Benz. So I'm wondering, is this just something that is turning into a controlling issue?
I mean, maybe, maybe not. I mean, I feel like she's a strong-minded woman where she can probably handle her own. So if he did get a little too out of whack, I do see her like checking him and being like, "Hey, yo, like I got this." I mean, he obviously cares about his woman and he obviously doesn't want to share her with the world, but I think he should take a lesson out of her book and how when he was on that modeling, you know, that modeling gig and she had to sit there and watch him cuddle up to some woman, she handled it very well. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones going home together. It's just business. So, maybe he's just got to get accustomed and, but I know she loves him. So I don't think he has anything to worry about.
Okay, I agree. All right. So let's talk about Stacey and how she spills the beans to her cousin Shannon, who's married to NBA star Ray Allen, by the way. But she kind of spills the beans before they get to Miami that Darcey and Georgi weren't together. So they're gonna show up at her house together. So it's gonna be, well, Darcey thinks it might be awkward, but it actually isn't awkward. It actually is a really good experience. And her cousin is a really successful person. She started her first business, and it's a organic fast food restaurant with healthy options, which literally doesn't exist. Like, if anyone came up with a business plan, that's the business plan. People want to eat healthy and get it fast, because if you want to eat healthy, you either have to go to an organic grocery store or you have to cook it at home. So she's a genius, and I'm so impressed with her and her family and her home. And I liked how Darcey was using that as kind of like motivation for Georgi. Like, look at what we could do together as a power couple, as two motivated, successful people. But I feel like kind of comparing him to an NBA Hall of Famer is really setting the standard really high, and that might actually be discouraging for him, because when you're trying to set goals and make things happen, putting you up against someone who's a NBA Hall of Famer is kind of setting the bar really high.
I mean, it doesn't have to be looked at that way. A lot of people can be used as an example without making like so many similarities towards them. You know what I mean? Like, she could just say this is a model example without saying like, okay, this guy's a celebrity. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I didn't feel that way. I kind of just felt like she was just kind of using them as an example. I don't think that Georgi is threatened either. Like, I feel like he's very secure with himself and what he wants to do with his life. I don't think that he feels like a sense like I have to be like him or I'm not great. I think he shows a side of confidence to him where he's very secure in their new again on again off again whatever relationship. And I don't know, like I think like she could and it really wouldn't affect him. I think that they're a good couple to model after. Like you said, they're very successful. They're a beautiful family. Their children are beautiful. And, their house was beautiful. And so it's kind of cool that we got a chance to get to meet them and see some more of their family other than dad and the children.
and grandma. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
let's talk about Michael Benz. So Michael Benz is on the show. He is a designer and a DJ, and he's the twins' LA friend and ex-business partner, and now new business partner. And he's really animated, and he had a lot to say about Georgi. It's funny because Florian felt threatened by him, and he was like, oh, I don't want you going to a business meeting with this guy, and I don't like the way you're dressed, and I want you to come home early. And he's more so like a brother figure to the twins. He's like giving them advice. He's worried about how they're being treated. So I feel like it might have been better if Florian could have been there to meet him, so he could have felt more at ease of who he is. Because the way they talk him up and the way they talk of him, any normal guy is going to question, what is this? Who is this guy? Why do you talk about him the way that you do so highly? So I kind of understand the way that he felt.
I don't get like the overboost of confidence from Florian like I get Georgi. So I feel like he might need a little bit more reassurance. So like you said, maybe if he would have gotten a chance to meet him one-on-one before the fact, then he wouldn't feel some type of way. Because it's like, if you already have any type of insecurities whatsoever or jealousy, and you tell the person like, hey, look, me and this guy I've known for a really long time, we're about to go do this, that, and the other, and whatever, can I come? No. So, the first thing your mind goes to is, why? What are you hiding? You know what I mean? Like, it's a shame that the opposite sex or whatever can't be friends without speculation that something will go down. I mean, I feel like we're so far in this world where you can actually hold a conversation without wanting to sleep with somebody. You know what I mean? So I
It's
just,
true.
but I think just out of like knowing how he feels and his feelings, he might have to just be the type where you're like, hey, here's for your reassurance. This is the guy I'm going with, and just kind of like letting him know. So that way he's like, oh, okay, cool. Because if you're hiding him from the person, he might automatically think it's something that it's not, when clearly it isn't. They're just longtime friends, and she probably like,
next
I don't need
week
to bring you.
they are going to all meet. We saw
That's
the preview, and it doesn't go well. I mean, it didn't seem like it was going bad for Florian, but it did appear that Georgi and Michael, appeared that Georgi was going to take a swing at him. So we don't necessarily know how this meeting is going to go, and I'm really nervous because they should be focusing on the fashion show. So a fist fight between the two of them is only going to deter them from the goal, and I want them to be successful. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens next week. So that's it for the Darcey and Stacey podcast. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Heather C. Make sure you're live tweeting with us every Monday night. Thank you so much for joining and supporting us. So we're going to see you guys really soon.